Glory to Jesus Christ. Such great saints, Peter and Paul. One would think they would each get their own special day. For some reason the church has combined them. And the readings, the first one from St. Paul talking about himself, and the second one about St. Peter. Certainly there's two letters, apostolic letters from St. Peter that we could have read from, but instead this combination of two great apostles, one probably a very good, holy Jew, peasant of sorts, fisherman, who grew up in the faith and lived the faith, I'm sure, his whole life. And this other really intelligent man who thought he understood what it meant to be Christian or meant to be of God. And he goes out and he starts persecuting the church, the early church. And then later on comes into an understanding of what it means to be one of Christ's followers. Sometimes we look around the church and we see some folks who have been church people since they were born, and others who have come in a little later, and some still waiting to come in. And we realize that this day especially, how important it is for us to realize that everyone is so important in the church, that this church of ours is intended to be the whole world. When Jesus speaks of the church, he's talking about every human being on the globe being part of this, continuing his work, and knowing that that's not really going to happen because of our sinfulness. Many people will never join and really be part of the church. Many others will never hear of it. And many of us will be in and out of faithfulness to it. But regardless, this feast of St. Peter and Paul should be for us a reminder of how powerful the church can be. The church, as Jesus calls St. Peter, the rock, of course Peter translates to the word rock. I'm going to call you rock, And what a beautiful thing. And it's hard, that Peter probably thought, oh no, now the whole burden of the world is on my shoulders. How am I supposed to carry this? But the truth be told, it wasn't the intention at all. That in fact, he represents the whole church. And yes, he has a very special place in the church. But it's the church together, how important it is for us to be strong, to be that rock on which the world can grow, on which the world can be built. As we look around the world, people have differing ideas about where there can be peace and where there can be harmony in the world. These terrorist Muslims are telling us the only way there will ever be peace in the world is if you all become Muslim like us. And even there's not equality, at that level. And if you don't, we will kill you, and we will do all these barbarian approaches. And that this is the way to peace. This is the way to life. And we Christians are called by Jesus to proclaim the truth that the only way is to build on God and God who is love. It is love. And yes, it is love that we must accept from God and then share it. It's forgiveness, being forgiven and forgiving each other, that the world will find true peace, that the world will find the harmony that it seeks. And yes, we are often we find ourselves in conflict. St. Paul speaks of some of the difficulties he had, the different things that he had to endure. But he also talks about being lifted up into the third heaven, if you will. And we say to ourselves, yes, we will find conflict. If we go out and proclaim the gospel, the truth, we will find that there are people who would prefer the lie. Archbishop Cordileone from San Francisco, in responding to this most recent Supreme Court action, said, it doesn't really matter how many people tell a lie, and even if the lie becomes law, it's still a lie. It's still a lie. It's not the truth. And we must stand up for that. We need to be the rock. We can't expect one man to do that. The vicar or the Pope in taking the place of Peter. You know, the proper word for it. Forgive me for forgetting it. But the Pope or the bishops can't be the only ones. It has to be the whole church together. And we do stand up for that truth. And we do understand that we're going to find conflict. But we can also celebrate that we are taken up into heaven at every divine liturgy. That doors of heaven are open to us. And God is present here in the most intimate way through the Holy Eucharist. So intimate that even when we are in heaven, it will not be more intimate to us. What a beautiful experience that we have available to us. And that truth must be spread as well. We need to not go out recruiting people to come because we have empty seats in the church, but because they need it. They need to be lifted up so that they can understand and accept that truth as God presents it. And so we come together. And not just we. I see candles here lit, probably to remember and to bring others, or at least remind us of the presence of others, some who have died, some who are not, some who just need our prayers. How beautiful. And when we come here, we are so intimately connected to God, as I say, that we are then connected to each other, and we are united with those who have gone before us in a very special way, and those who will come after us in a very special way as well. St. Peter, St. Paul, beautiful examples of faith, examples of people who stood up for the faith, example of St. Peter, the one who denied Jesus, but then came back. And so all of us, in our sinfulness, when we deny him, we can all come back. What a beautiful experience of reconciliation that we have available to us as well. So let's indeed celebrate the fact that the church has been given that right to loose on earth as it is loosed in heaven, and to approach that great sacrament as well. It's a beautiful day to realize and to have hope to realize that the Christian message is the only hope for the world, and it's a great responsibility, but it is hope. There is hope. There is great hope. It doesn't really matter how many lies are told and how many laws are passed against God's will, but God is indeed with us. Glory to Jesus Christ.